we're going to talk about the North London derby from both points of view, and there's plenty to talk about. So, we used to do the Daily Arsenal, and then an Arsenal supporting producer took over and got rid of it, didn't he?
He did.
He did. The senior gooner got rid of it because it upset him too much. So now he's out of the way. We decided to bring it back every Monday, so the Monday Arsenal, but a little bit of a twist today. So it's time for this. Dear. The Monday Tottenham. That's what we're going to do today, because
it could be Tottenham Monday every Monday. Right, it's going.
Listen, let's we'll get your views on the North London derby. 08717 223344, and there's plenty of angles on this. First of all, how bad were Tottenham?
Yeah, pretty bad, weren't they?
Dreadful.
One thing I will say just quickly on Arsenal, ladies, but I said, I think in another debate when we were talking and arguing about this, but when all the players come back into this Arsenal side from injury or COVID or the new signings settle, I think we might start to see the real Arsenal. And it's hard to judge, I will be honest, against that Tottenham team, because that Tottenham team was horrendous, by the way, and they have been for the last 3 games. But it gives Arsenal fans a little bit of hope. Whether it's false hope, we'll soon find out. But that team, there's some good players. And that bench, I thought the bench was pretty strong as well.
Okay, well, give me some names. I mean, because I was...
Well, I'm talking about Odegaard. I'm talking about Partey, who's back in. Lokonga came off the bench. Yep. That was pretty strong. Saka and Smith-Rowe, what a baller. What a baller. I wouldn't often use a word like that.
No, you don't.
It's not me. But dear me, what a player, by the way. And I can't even pronounce Tomiyasu.
He's very good, yeah.
However you pronounce it, playing at right back for Arsenal, and I said that he'd playing that position, he's been fantastic. He was fantastic the other day.
I think, and listen, Tottenham were horrendous. In my opinion, they were truly horrendous. Emile Smith-Rowe, before he played a Premier League game, I did say that Arsenal needed to have him in their Premier League team. That was last December. Very, very good player. And comfortably man of the match yesterday. I do want to warn. I mean, there's been a massive overreaction to this game, though. I mean, a huge overreaction. In itself, it's the North London derby. It's Arsenal Spurs. Of course, it's big. But
there's no overreaction.
No, of course there is.
No, there's not. Because you consider where they were, Arsenal, just quickly on it.
Go on.
You consider where they were. We had a caller on just a few weeks ago who said, you watch. He was a Tottenham fan. He said, you watch, but time we play Arsenal, they'll beat us and they'll go above us in the league. Well, guess what, caller? Whoever you were spot on. Because Arsenal are sitting in 10th, which is about par, and Tottenham are 11th. That's where they're at, those two clubs at this moment in time.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I mean, do you think that this now, because of that performance yesterday, and Arsenal were good, but they were better than Spurs, but Spurs were really bad. So everything in perspective and everything in context, Arsenal are on a winning run, but they've beaten Burnley, Norwich, Wimbledon and Spurs. So they're teams that, given the current form of Spurs, I'd expect them to beat. Let me take you back 3 years, because on the 2nd of December 2018, I was actually at the Emirates with Mrs. D. We were in with the Arsenal fans, and they beat Spurs 4-2 under Unai Emery. And they all thought, this is it. This is the big moment at the Emirates we've been waiting for. We're all going to be on a roll after this. Let me give you a few quotes afterwards. These were either from Arsenal fans or Unai Emery. The Arsenal went top 4. They'd been unbeaten in 19. All Arsenal fans thought this is it, okay? Torreira, remember him? Man of the match. He was described as a bargain.
No, not from my book.
Right, okay.
You know what I've always thought of Torreira.
Unai Emery was described as outstanding. Less than a year later, Emery was sacked. So everybody needs to just calm their red and white shirts down and just realise they were singing.
Well, Unai Emery's gone on to prove that he's a good manager.
Well, obviously, something's wrong at Arsenal.
It just didn't happen at Arsenal.
This is my point. There's something bigger that's wrong at Arsenal. Whether it is decision-making, whether it is the board, whatever it is, there's something that's wrong there. I can't see them finishing top 4. They could maybe win a cup, I don't know. But does that really matter anymore? Because Wenger was doing that and got the sack. Arsenal didn't beat anybody. They were singing all the way through the game about how bad Spurs were, and then deciding that having beaten that bad side, things have changed and it's all going to be rosy, it's all going to be brilliant. Exactly the same. At that game a couple of years ago, all Arsenal fans will remember it. They beat Spurs 4-2. This was a good Spurs side that was in the top 4 at the time. This was Poch's Spurs. Arsenal replaced them in the top 4 with that victory. So go back to then. Was that a new dawn? No, it wasn't. So let's just calm ourselves down.
By the way, on Tottenham, so let's get on to Tottenham here, right? And why they were disappointing. A few things, really. When they signed Nuno as manager, when it looked like they wanted him, then they didn't want him. Then somebody else pulled out, so he went back in. They didn't want him again. And then somebody else pulled out. They didn't want him, so they went back to Nuno. So third time lucky. But the appointment, when they said they're appointing a free-flowing, entertaining football manager, right, who likes to work with young talent. That's what they signed Nuno for. Now, where was the free-flowing football? And when has he ever been free-flowing football? It's always been about an organised defence with a quality midfield, right? A quality midfield and a player who can attack at serious speed. Mm-hmm. That's what he had at Wolves. So they did attack on the break pretty quick. Now, I looked at that midfield of Tottenham yesterday, where it was Dele, Højbjerg and then Ndombele. Now, they're not going to break the same way as Wolves do.
Nope.
Because the Wolves midfield's better than that.
I listen, the Nuno appointment, what was he, 9th choice, something like that. So it's, and this is where you have to look at what's wrong with Tottenham. Okay, the squad building has been horrendous. But you have to look at Daniel Levy, who's brilliant at getting a stadium built. He's brilliant at getting the AJ fight there in a brilliant atmosphere, brilliant at getting NFL, which we're going to cover on talkSPORT, back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. All this stuff around the football club and running that side of things, I don't think there could be anybody better.
But is this one of the problems, though, what you have in football? We all, for these directors of football, and it may be it, but they've got a manager in here who they said, free-flowing, entertaining football and that. But I reckon he didn't sign one of them players. Not one of them was his choice. And that's why when people are mourning, but none of the new signings, not one of them started that game, right, for Tottenham. But if he doesn't want them in his side, this is where he has its downfall.
Mate, there's a massive disconnect. All the different departments don't look like they're talking to each other. And I think the Harry Kane situation is a great example of how it just doesn't work. Tottenham Hotspur isn't working. Okay, at the start of the summer when he said, I want it done before the Euros, Harry said he wanted to go for the Euros. I want to sit down and have an honest conversation with the chairman. And Harry Kane's still there. He doesn't want to be there. I heard the commentary team on TV yesterday saying, well, has he got the desire? No, he hasn't got the desire because he had no desire to be at Tottenham Hotspur. He literally doesn't want to be there. Why on earth would you give a manager a player who doesn't want to be there? The best idea was what a lot of pundits on talkSPORT were saying all summer, sell him early and then use that money wisely in conjunction with the new manager, as you're saying, have a really sound, solid, joined-up thinking recruitment policy, use the Harry Kane money to rebuild at Spurs. But they've not.
Well, because the thing is, and this is why the manager has to have a lot of responsibility on the signing, because I think with Arteta, he has a big say in some of the players he's signing. I think you can tell that because they're straight back in, or good communication, whatever it may be. But if he does wrong for Tottenham and they lose the next one, they'll be going out straight away, even though he's not played in, and saying Nuno should be sacked. But he's not signed these players. Nothing to do with him. He don't think they're good enough to get into the side the way he wants to try and play. Now, he's going to try and change something because what he says as a manager, he got it wrong. He got the selection and the formation wrong in that game. Now, he can't keep coming out and saying that. Obviously, he's gone.
10th beat 11th yesterday, so let's have your views on that. Mid-table mediocrity at its very, very worst.